This is Vargas recording live from the Vargas Vault with the third, one, two, tres, of the pickups videos. I recorded the movies, I recorded the video games and extra stuff that I've gotten. Like promised, I was going to do a comic book pickup video. Not the biggest comic book pickup video that I've ever done. This is actually a dwindling with each passing month. I am, like I've mentioned before, unfortunately trying to cut back on comic books. And yeah, this is going to keep dwindling down, and I'll mention why when I get to it. But first off, I picked up Action Comics issue 997. Still following Booster Gold and Superman time traveling. And they went into the well, not as far, but a far future where General Zod and his wife and his son have taken over the world and have created a new Krypton. And the story continues and concludes in issue 998, where an older Zod is trying to, kill Superman. And the next issue I picked up was issue 999, where Superman and Clark Kent guys, Lois Lane and Jonathan, are trying to reconnect with Sam Lane, Lois Lane's father. So this was a really touching story, him trying to get over his hate with Superman, and them trying to make him see beyond that. And also for free, I got the World of Krypton issue number 1 freebie. I didn't know about this until recently, but apparently they're going to do a Krypton TV show. So that looks interesting. The comic book was interesting, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Action Comics, I'm only going to pick up, like I've mentioned before, I'm going to pick up issue 1000. Even though I question how accurate that is, because when New 52 kicked in, they stopped Action Comics, relaunched number 1, released 52 issues, and then restarted again. So there's a gap, of course, but according to DC, they're going to reach Action Comics 1000, and I'm going to pick it up because it's supposedly it's a huge anniversary issue. It's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. If the Green Lantern and the Swamp Thing books that came out are an indication, it's probably going to be rather expensive. But that is the last Action Comics book that I'm going to pick up. I'm also going to drop Superman, and the reason for that, I don't remember if I mentioned this, because Brian Michael Bendis, one of Marvel's comic book architects, taught it as a genius, and that brought a lot of stories to Marvel. Jump shipped and is now going to DC, and DC Comics is giving Brian Michael Bendis Superman. Now, to the best of the research that I've been able to do or read online, Brian Michael Bendis is going to take over the whole Superman books, both Superman and Action Comics, and that's it for me. Brian Michael Bendis in Marvel started off really well, but I guess, I don't know, it went to his head, or he got too confident in his work, because his recent stories for Marvel just haven't been that good, in my opinion. It's my own personal opinion. Others might disagree, but I'm dropping Superman flat. I wanted to stick with Superman because of Dan Jurgens. I really like what he was doing. And also what they were doing with Superman, with the family dynamic between Clark, Lois, and Jonathan. But I have no interest to read any stories by Brian Michael Bendis. Nothing against the guy. I'm sure he might be a really cool guy, but his Marvel work has just done nothing for me recently. Of course, there's always a possibility that, in a different universe, different characters, he might, maybe that's the spark that will get his creative juices going, and he'll, produce good stories. But, I have to cut down on comic books anyway, so it was just like a perfect example of synergy. Just like, a writer that I don't really care for his recent work is writing a book for DC, so I guess I'll just drop that. So yeah, if he is going to write both Superman and Action Comics, I will be dropping both Superman and Action Comics. I'll just pick up Action Comics number 1000, and whatever Superman book is released before Brian Michael Bendis. Speaking of Superman, the Superman book, I picked up issue 41, concluding the storyline where Superman and Jonathan, or Superboy, are traveling to that world that is about to explode, but these people are full of religious nuts, and they all want to die because they think that's the will of their deity. So yeah, a very interesting parallel with Krypton. And Superman 42, I had to double put these because usually at my comic book store they individually wrapped my comic books, but this time around they didn't. They just, some of them were bagged, some of them were not, and I didn't have enough money to buy bags and backboards, so I had to double use the bags. But this is Superman 42, where they travel. Jonathan and his one of his friends travel to Bizarro World, where you have Bizarro Lois Lane, and Bizarro Superboy. And by the end of the issue, Bizarro Superboy makes the jump through dimensions, and he's in the Superman universe. So very interesting that they're introducing a Bizarro Superboy into the universe. So yeah, I don't know how long Gleason is going to be on the book, how many issues they're going to allow him to pump out, but yeah, this was pretty cool. Another cool book, picked up Batman issue 41, and Poison Ivy has somehow extended her powers into like monumental levels, because she was able to infect all vegetables. They've been toying with this idea of Poison Ivy, tapping directly into the green, which is the elemental force that controls all plant life. That, of course, is represented by Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is the avatar of the green. But in recent years, they've kind of like toyed with the idea of Poison Ivy also tapping into that. And apparently that's what she did here, because she was able to tap into, the plant life that people eat. And by eating the plant life, like vegetables and fruits and everything, they are now brainwashed by Poison Ivy. So she has basically taken control of everything, everyone. The only person that was able to survive is Batman. He was able to fight off the possession, giving him just enough time to be able to prevent him and Catwoman from being taken over. So in this new world, Catwoman and Batman are the only two people that are not affected by Poison Ivy. And at the end of issue 42, which I also got, she sends out the Justice League to trap Batman and Catwoman, and Batman basically is just toying with Poison Ivy, and she uses Superman to just punch him in the face, just blah, destroyed. She didn't kill him because she was able to use mystics and everything to save him. But it's going to be interesting how they stop Poison Ivy and her new like superpower, where she's basically become omnipotent in the Earth. So that's very interesting. I'm hoping Swamp Thing has something to do with this, and he pops up to stop Poison Ivy, because that would be pretty cool. I've mentioned this before. I freaking love Swamp Thing. Also picked up a tie-in issue for Dark Knight's Metal. I have been trying to avoid the tie-ins, but this one is a tie-in issue before issue 6, which hasn't released yet. So I had to buy it, and I really like the cover. It's Dark Knight's The Wild Hunt with a nice metal cover. Very cool. And this is, just things are hitting the fan. Things are not looking good for our heroes. I don't know how they're going. Obviously, they're going to do it, but I don't know how they're going to stop the Dark Universe when you have a Doomsday powered Batman, a God of War powered Batman, and a Batman that's gone completely insane. So this is very interesting. This concept was really cool of a dark multiverse where everything is just evil. So this was pretty cool. Also picked up issue 4 of Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, where Bane has taken over the Foot Clan and basically has just, ransacked everything and beat up Splinter really bad. And Donatello, as a means to try to stop him, has venomized himself. He's pumped himself full of venom to try to take the fight to Bane. Also, really digging this story a lot. This is really fun. Picked up Old Man Logan issue 35, concluding the story arc with the Crimson Samurai. And the only thing I don't like about this, it does not bode well for Old Man Logan, because in one of the previous issues they cut off one of his hands. So it slowly grew back, but now it doesn't have any adamantium anymore. It has bone claws. So now it has adamantium on one hand and bone claws in the other. So that's kind of lame. And I don't know how this happened. I don't catch up with Marvel as much, as the universe aren't as connected as they used to be. But in issue 36, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, has become the mayor of New York somehow. I don't know how that happened. And he's outlaw vigilantes, but of course, in this issue, Old Man Logan, gets information that might incriminate Fisk through a USB. So everyone's hunting down Old Man Logan. So, yeah, I don't think it bodes very well for Old Man Logan, which makes sense because 616 Wolverine is back. So eventually, I think they are going to kill off Old Man Logan and just leave Wolverine there. Also, for $1, and I freaking love these True Believers comic books. They're $1, and they're basically just reprints of older comic books. So for $1, I picked up this Venom Symbiosis, which is a reprint of Web of Spider-Man #1, where Spider-Man gets rid of the Venom suit. The Venom suit is trying to take him over, but this is the comic book where he gets to the church, and through the bells ringing, he's able to remove the symbiote. And the other reprint I got is Venom vs. Spider-Man, which is a reprint of Spider-Man 300, which I don't own. And this is Venom's first full appearance. So this is pretty cool for $1. It's a nice, thick book. Can't go wrong with this. Really cool. Also picked up All New Wolverine, issue 31, with a crossover with the Merc with the Mouth, Deadpool. And then issue 32 with an appearance by the Orphans of X. So, really, mentioned this before, I really dig Laura X-23 becoming Wolverine. I hope when 616 Wolverine eventually does come back, they don't take any importance away from Laura, because I really like the character. Picked up X-Men Gold, issue 22, concluding the Brotherhood storyline, which sees the X-Men get into trouble and thrown into jail because they assaulted innocent people thanks to Mesmero. So in issue 23, you have the X-Men Gold team being sent to a super villain prison where their powers are nullified and they're kind of messed up. But of course you can't have an X-Men, so Iceman is given a team to try to pick up the slack while the X-Men Gold team is in jail. So, yep. And the last books I picked up is Astonishing X-Men issue 8. Still continuing the X-Men trying to accept that Professor Xavier took over Phantom X's body, and also having to deal with Protheus. And at the end of the issue, it actually ends in a very horrifying kind of way, because the thing about Protheus is that he can bend reality. So what he does is that he kind of like something straight out of The Thing, he fuses X and Psylocke. So like this mess of something out of Cronenberg, some mess of flesh, really messed up stuff. And the story continues in issue 9, where they're trying to figure out a way to stop Proteus. So I really like Astonishing X-Men. Actually, am liking Astonishing X-Men a little better than X-Men Gold. So, I'm going to drop both Superman books, but I still have to drop one more book, and I think I'm going to drop X-Men Gold. But I will hold on to X-Men Gold until the wedding of Colossus and Kitty Pryde. Once that happens, I'm probably going to drop X-Men Gold and just keep Astonishing X-Men. So yeah, that was the comic book pickup video. Very short pickups compared to previous videos, but like I said, I do have to cut back on comic books for reasons I will explain on a different video. But yeah, I mentioned this before. Comic books are something that I adore. Comic books got me through some really almost dropped the comic books. Got me through some really tough times, and I still love physical comic books. I still love the artwork. I still love the writing, even though I don't always agree with some of the creative decisions. And I'm never gonna stop buying comic books cold turkey. I'll still pick up Batman and Wolverine, but I do have to cut back on some books. I'm almost at the point where I'll be okay. I just have to drop. I'm definitely gonna drop Superman and Action Comics if Bendis takes over their book, and then the next on the chopping block is gonna be X-Men Gold, and I'll just leave the Wolverines, Old Man Logan, only Wolverine, Astonishing X-Men. I'll only leave Batman because Batman's freaking awesome, and that would be it. Actually, that would be it. I dropped so many other comic books, and it's a shame. But it's a sacrifice that I have to do, and it's something that just has to be done. But don't want to end on a downer note, so like always, I like to recommend the standout books of the haul. Just really like recommending books to people that might not read them. And I'm going to recommend Astonishing X-Men. It's a really good book. It's introducing a lot of different things, but also it does it very well. And I'm still digging what they're doing with Batman. I think the Batman books have been solid throughout this run. And also Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, two franchises that I've never thought would ever come together, and they're doing it very well. So those are my comic book recommendations. I hope you get a chance to read comics. Read comic books, people. I know the craze right now, justifiably so, because they do produce a lot of really good movies. Our superhero movies with Marvel. Marvel's been just producing hit after hit after hit. But don't forget about comic books. Comic books are a medium that have been they've been publishing comic books for years and years now. And again, it's kind of hard to get into comic books because there's so much history behind the characters. But they produce. If you look, you'll find something that's right for you. And people have to support comic books because if not, comic books, God forbid, might go the route of Toys R Us or Blockbuster, or I'm sorry to say, even physical media starting to disappear. And I genuinely would hate if everything's digital. Nothing's physical. All movies are digital. All music is digital. All comic books are digital. That would suck. For me anyway, because I'm old school. But yeah. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Sorry for going on a little divergent rant there, but just the way I feel about comic books. While I do have to sacrifice some comic books, I would hate for comic books as a medium to just disappear, and I wouldn't enjoy that. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Give those book recommendations a shot. If there are other comic books that you read, share them with everyone. And in the comic section, if you give me a thumbs up, I appreciate it. But until I see you all again next time, this was Vargas, recording in the Vargas Vault. Thanking you all, appreciating your time, of course, and signing out.